It's a heavyweight clash tonight in NPL Victoria. These are the last two champions we've had in this state going head-to-head tonight, third versus fifth on the ladder, and two super coaches putting out their best to try and stop the other. The Oakleigh Cannons hosting Avondale tonight on a Friday night. Round number 9 of NPL Victoria from Jack Edwards Reserve on a nice cool evening, streaming live here on YouTube. Jordan Canellis with you, and alongside me for the call is Oscar Rutherford. Evening, Oscar. How are you?
Oh, I'm very excited, Jordan. I mean, like you say, a heavyweight clash. It's a perfect night for football, and the silverware on the line as well, with the Community Shield to play for in round 9 of the NPL season, as you do.
I know. Here we are in the middle of the season, effectively now. We're into the starting to get into the depths of the cold months. Not quite frosty tonight, but not normally a time of the year you'd be playing for a trophy, but we are. This is doubling up as the Community Shield for 2024. So we will have a winner effectively tonight. If it's a draw at the end of 90 minutes, then they'll split the points for the league, for the sake of the league. But for the sake of the Community Shield, we do have the option of penalties.
We don't do it simple in Victorian football or in NPL football as a whole, do we? No, but it adds a little bit more extra to this game, which already has so much riding on it. As you say, the last two champion teams right in the mix near the top of the table, and 3 points tonight would be massive either way. Yeah, we've got an Oakleigh team whose defence has been exceptional, one of the best defences this season, statistically second best behind Heidelberg coming into this round. Avondale have been involved in a lot of high-scoring games. They've scored 16, conceded 11. What are you looking out for mainly tonight, Oscar? What's the main arch of tonight's story? Well, I think that for the Cannons, often on a night like tonight, you'd think that both teams would accept a draw, even if not being completely happy with that outcome. For Oakleigh, though, the thing that's held them back this season is just a few too many drop points from draws. Yet to lose a game, but the likes of the Dandenong game, South Melbourne here a couple of weeks ago, they keep just letting these points go, and when you've got the likes of Avondale and South Melbourne picking up 3 points seemingly every week, you've got to make sure that you're winning some of these big clashes. So I think both teams will be going for the 3 points tonight. Yanis Zizis gets us underway, our central referee for this evening's clash, round number 9, and we'll have a look at the starting 11s in just a second. A couple of changes, not too many for tonight. Both managers going with pretty much the same lineups. However, Oakleigh have been forced into 2 changes. They've, not necessarily forced into their goalkeeper change, with Nick Feely coming back between the posts, but in midfield, Oscar, they do have an injury there to Cam McGilp, so Noah Holmes gets the start. It was never going to be too long until we saw a Holmes back in the middle of the park at Jack Edwards. But yeah, big opportunity for Noah Holmes and big shoes to fill as well. Cam McGill, such a fantastic player for Oakleigh, and really good to see a young player getting a go. It's a bit of a scrap at the moment. Knocked away. Oakleigh will take over again. Lovely ball forward there from Kubalay. Looking for the cross to come in here, Oakleigh. Kubalay squares it. Here is Holmes, clipping it forward. And Avondale will try and deal with it back in their defensive third of the field. Clear of the danger area. Oakleigh's team tonight, Feely in goals, Wellsmore, Eliopoulos, Boyce and Sinclair across the back 4. Holmes and Kubalay in the centre of the midfield. Valentini, Guest and Adis across the attacking midfield line. And Alex Salmon up front as the striker. Well, for Avondale, Thomas Manos in goals. Adam El Hayek at right back. Kalalu Kamara and Aidan Bryce in the centre of defence. Blake Carpenter at left back. Itay Towns and Christian Tchaikovsky in the centre of midfield. Kerr, Cuba and Zinni at potent attacking midfield line just behind Yui Ahmed up front as the striker, Oscar. Avondale attempting to gain a bit of territory for the first time tonight. They don't get too far as Steph Valentini now makes his way down the right-hand side. Still Valentini gets the shot away and draws an early save from Tom Manos in the Avondale goal. Bright start for Chris Taylor's men as Alex Salmon again gets a boot on that one. Narrowly wide Tom Manos' post. It's a corner kick that's been awarded. So Joe Guest will use some of his set-piece expertise early in this game. Got on the score sheet yet again. Last time out, did Joe Guest a wonderful curling finish in that comprehensive 3-0 win against Port Melbourne. Guest with the first set-piece delivery of the night. He finds a teammate, Valentini, who got a little bit of a head on it, but couldn't direct it on target, and Avondale will now have a chance to perhaps have a more extended spell of possession for the first time tonight. And right under the cosh from the first minute. There's another layer of excitement to add to this game is the big wins that both teams are coming off. Oakleigh 3-0 against Port Melbourne here at Jack Edwards last week, whilst Avondale got the ship back on form with a 4-0 win against Altona. This is Stefan Zinni now. Plays it out to the right-hand side where Cuba has some space. He gets a shot away himself. Left himself a little bit too much work to do with the angle. End-to-end start to this game, Jordan.
Nice changing of lanes between Zinni and Cuba. Good understanding as Zinni came in on the diagonal and Cuba went out. Both teams with attacking forays in the opening couple of minutes. A pattern that we hope to see continue throughout the course of the match between these two big teams in Victorian football. Cleared away. Kubalay in midfield, assumes control for Oakleigh. There's a searching pass for Adis, cut out by Trajewski. Towns. Zinni again on that angle. Gets past a couple and tries to sneak it into that bottom corner. He's looking dangerous early on, opening 5 minutes. Stefan Zinni.
Yeah, both teams just throwing a couple of punches early. Oakleigh in the first few minutes, Avondale with the response. Wouldn't be surprised to see this pattern play out for a lot of the night, and I hope it does, Jordan, because it's really exciting end-to-end football early on.
Battle in midfield. Here's Kerr. Ahmed. He's got 3 players around him. He's done well to retain possession there for Avondale on the far side. Nice. To Kamara. Pressing in that midfield zone. And there it comes off well there for Oakleigh. Kubalay starts a new counter-attack. Here's Kubalay. And blocked in front. There was plenty of Avondale players getting back quickly. See that mid-zone press from Oakleigh. It's a strategy that could work if Avondale, obviously, Oscar aren't up to the pressure that's getting put onto them.
Super impressive play as well from Aidan Bryce coming across to make that block. He's an imposing figure and made the most of it to close down the space with that previous shot. It's now the Avengers who look to charge down this left-hand side. Cuba, not quite on the same wavelength as his teammates. Now Kamara will look to relaunch the attack. Don't waste any time, Avondale. They're forced into being a little bit more patient with their build-up now. This is Yute Towns. With Bryce now. Driving forward from defence, uses Kerr. Space on the left-hand side. Carpenter delivers it in, finds a teammate with the shot, and following up is Kerr. Somehow Oakleigh scrambled the ball away. It was a wonderful piece of attacking move from the Avengers. Christian Trajewski forced the save from Feely. Kerr had a couple of bites at the cherry. It's a breathless start to football at Jack Edwards. We've seen it time and time again, but it doesn't get any less exciting each time it happens on a Friday night.
And good saves by Nick Feely as well. He hit down quickly on that first shot from Trajewski, which didn't have too much power behind it. It was one of the easier shots for Feely to deal with in that phase of play, but it was the follow-up to get back up quickly and recover. Here's Sinclair now for Oakleigh going the other way. Kubalay has Holmes as the short option. Into the starting 11 tonight for Cam McGill, out with that injury from last week's match. Eliopoulos across to Boyce. Sinclair is getting the run from Guests. Long searching ball. It was the right idea, just a bit too much weight behind it.
Bit of talk during the week about how CT would adjust to the lack of Cam McGilpin. Would he give Noah Holmes a shot, or would he ask Kingsley Sinclair to play in another different position? Of course, he's been adapted into this fullback role, which he's excelled at, so I'm not surprised to see him keep his spot at left fullback and Noah Holmes give him the run in the middle of the park.
They do play with a very small squad, don't they? Only 18 players on that senior list. They've called up a couple of youth team players here and there throughout the season. You've got Mensink and Gregory on the bench tonight for Oakleigh as they begin a new attack here, looking for Salmon in the middle. Cut out, and Towns will stroll away. And now that stroll has been ratcheted up a couple of notches. Here's Zinni. Sinclair on his inside. Zinni continues on, heavy ball, and no one backing up down the far flank. Wellsmore races out, beats Kerr. Holmes. Oakleigh looking to play out. Avondale shut the door.
Yeah, we sing the praises of Kingsley Sinclair. Of course, there aren't many tougher tasks in Victorian football than having Stephen Zinni running at you for 90 minutes, for the majority of it. So we'll see how he copes with that test tonight.
Unidatus into Guests. Salmon starts the run. Guests didn't like it. Here's Joe Guest. Adis. Salmon in the middle. That was a pretty strong challenge from Al-Hayek, and he's actually come off the worst of the two players from his own doing. Adam Al-Hayek, the right back.
Yeah, really firm coming together, that, making the challenge. It looked like he got almost all ball with it, but as you say, he's come off the worst end of it. Munavadis looks relatively unharmed.
Might have been knee on knee. It almost looked like his foot got caught in the ground a little bit as well, Al-Hayek. Filling in at the moment for Dylan Jacoupy at right back, normally the starting player in that position for the Avengers. He's played pretty much every game this season. Adam Al-Hayek, he has, 8 of 8.
Yeah, really good to see him getting consistent game time. He struggled for it in his first season back at Avondale last season, but he's given more of a run, and we've seen he's made a strong start to this game as well. He's got another big task. It's not a good night to be a fullback, I don't think, because everywhere you look, there are wingers with pace and skill and a lot of determination that they'll bring just about the full 90. The Avengers once more attempting their build-up from the back. This is Kerr. Also, much of this Avondale build-up starts with two central defenders, Bryce and Kamara tonight. This is Trycheski. Kamara dangerous with the attempted pass to Zinni. Did pass it straight into the legs of Adis, but had enough pace that it was not an easy one to control. Ahmed. Bryce gets there and hoofs it long. Kerr is the target. He has Wellsmore competing with him, and it's the Oakleigh man who comes away with the throw. Carpenter got there first, but could only send it as far as Noah Holmes. And this time the Cannons take their opportunity to retreat to their goalkeeper. Wellsmore got his name on the score sheet last time out, making the run high up the pitch from his fullback position, as we know he's well capable of doing. It's nicely done by Sinclair. In a tight position as Adis, but not a lot of space. Last people they cut out by Zinni. And now Towns. Avondale looking to hit on the counter. Zinni releases Cuba. Has Kerr in the middle. Back to Cuba, who lets it roll. And Avondale will get a corner.
They go quick, don't they? From that halfway line, they look like they just sort of are feeling things out. From behind the halfway line to the halfway line, they're just looking ahead, just probing, looking what gaps open up, and then once they see something they like, they go. There's a pretty noticeable change of pace once they cross halfway, and they know they've got the pace as well with those players like Cuba and Zinni. The way they just flick through the gears, Avondale. Pretty impressive.
Carpenter standing over the corner with the left-footed in swinger. Sent in right into the middle of the box, but an Oakleigh head gets there first. Zinni doing some defensive work. Now Guest sends it to Salmon. Back to Guest. Now the Cannons in transition. It's a decent ball. Very nearly Nib Adis able to latch onto it. Fortunately for Avondale, Tom Manos was alert to the danger. Just as you sing the praises of Avondale, Jordan, Oakleigh's hope that they're not too shabby on the counter either.
Little mistake here as well from Avondale, so Adis given a second chance. Slight deflection. Goalkeeper's being wrong-footed by his own teammate. Guest. And Avondale had the numbers back. Very close. Thomas Manos coming out, leaving his goal face exposed, but now the counter-attack from Avondale. Here's Kerr. Rosmore holds him up. Kerr finds a short avenue around, but they do have to go back. Reset here, Avondale. Run being made by Trycheski. It's been spotted. Just a fraction long. Feely mops it up. That previous phase was just an inch away from being such a perfect counter-attack from Oakleigh as well. I mean, it was 5 against 1. Avondale in favour getting back. Here is Adis again. And this time Kamara comes across and closes him down. Trycheski. Oh, that was a stern challenge from Alex Salmon. All fair, says the referee.
Big night for Alex Salmon. He made such an electric start to the season with his goal scoring, and it's just slowed down a little bit over the last month or so. He's still got 5 to his name, so he's going all right for so early into the season. But I think he'd like to get his name back on the score sheet sooner rather than later, and especially in such a big game like tonight.
Holmes. Being nicked off him by Trycheski. Cuba splitting the defence. Good pass. Kerr. Lays it back inboard to Cuba. Wrong foot Swan. Takes the left-footed shot. Just slightly off balance. He dug at it. It's young Cuba. And Nick Feely with the take and the quick release.
Valentini looking to sneak in behind. The goalkeeper's missed it. Stefan Valentini. Well, it all happened very quickly and he couldn't quite keep his composure at the time. Another player, Steph Valentini, coming up against his former team tonight. Had a decent spell with Oakleigh, it's safe to say, with Avondale, I should say. It's reasonable to say. He's 4 years at the club, 31 goals in the league in that time. Guest loses his footing. And now Towns looks to send Zinni away. Adis back with the defensive cover. They'll continue to show their patience. The last passage of play for the Avengers, we heard Zoki Markovsky yelling out, "Recycle, recycle." He doesn't want them pulling the trigger before the team is ready for it. Ahmed showing for the ball. Trycheski now towards Zinni. Zinni gets the cross inside. Oh, found its way past every Oakleigh defender. And the shot from Zian Cuba is ever so narrowly put wide of the target. But that's as clear-cut of a chance as we've seen so far tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. Avondale starting to pile up the best of the opportunities. Certainly they've had more worrying shots sent towards goal from an Oakleigh defensive perspective than vice versa. Good battles on this broadcast side as well. There's plenty of attention, as you would expect from Oakleigh defensively at Stefan Zinni. couple of speed demons in that build-up with Adis and Zinni going tearing down the sideline. Stabbed away by Bryce. Eliopoulos. Kerr. Certainly pressure around these big games against a heavyweight opponent. I think there'd be just a slight bit more from the Oakleigh perspective. Chris Taylor hasn't had a win yet this season. They've faced Heidelberg and South Melbourne in the opening 2 months of the season and haven't won in either of those fixtures. So we'll be wanting to notch up a win against one of the fellow contenders pretty soon. Tonight's a good chance to do that.
Yeah, well, it would be remiss of us not to mention that this is, of course, one of 3 big games in the top flight of Victorian football tonight. 4 of the top 5 teams playing, so significant ramifications in both of these times. Just a little peek around the grounds. Summer Street, Melbourne Knights 0, Heidelberg 0 at the break, while South Melbourne have a narrow 1-0 lead against Green Gully right at the moment. So big games going all around Victoria tonight.
Eliopoulos. Boyce casts a long one forward towards Salmon. Knocked away by Bryce. Mara gets rid of it. Sinclair stabs it towards Adis. Mel Hayek with the throw. Rolling backwards by Adis. Here's Trycheski, cut out in midfield. Good retrieving tackle. Valentini folding in. He's got it back again here, Valentini. Trying to weave his way through Avondale and releases the shot. And Manos not confident to hold that. He parries it away. Good flying save through the air. But he played the percentages with that one, Oscar.
It was a lovely shot, wasn't it? You saw it just heading right towards that top corner, but for Tom Manos' intervention.
Starting to get a few set pieces now. Had a corner early on in the match. Oakleigh worked in. Eliopoulos was the target. Adis went back on it and hooks it high over the crossbar. You reckon Tom Manos, it was a good save, I don't want to take that away from Manos, but there's been a few times just before that where he had come out off his line and maybe was a bit over-eager to get to a loose ball coming towards his 18-yard box. Does he look a bit nervy?
I think that's part of what makes Tom Manos' goalkeeping style. He likes to be on the front foot and come out and play that sweeper role when he needs to. He loves a diving save as well. He's a lot of fun to watch. I'm not sure I'd put it down to nerves. I'd put it down to just his stylistic preference for how he likes to play as a goalkeeper.
Big crowd here at Jack Edwards Reserve tonight. Nice pass. Cuba. Touch pass through to Zinni. Takes a touch. And in off the posts. Stefan Zinni has the opener for Avondale. He's been threatening down that right side. Cutting and flying his way past opponents. And finally he's got the rewards. It's Oakleigh 0, Avondale 1.
Week after week we see Stefan Zinni terrorising defences with his play cutting in from the wing, and you can see just how hard he is to stop. And then the finish as well, narrowly poking it past Nick Feely and then in off the post. I mean, it's just about as perfect a finish as you can wish for.
Always a little more satisfying. You just get that kiss off the post, the ricochet in, and Stefan Zinni notches up another goal for his campaign, goal number 5, outright leading scorer for Avondale in this 2024 season so far through 9 games.
And now the challenge really laid before Oakleigh. What do they have in response? It's been an even game so far, you'd have to say. Do the Cannons the quick answer. Salmon gets the strike away. That one never likely to cause too much trouble for Manos. And well, now these moments where Avondale patiently use the ball with their defenders will cause a little bit more angst amongst the home support. Towns sliding in, got there just in time to maintain possession for his team. Kamara. Now Cuba. The press is pretty intense and forces the turnover. Ball finding its way over the fence. Well won by Zinni. Almost set Ahmed away. Towns has Kerr on the left. Still Kerr. Wellsmore provides a sturdy defence. And now looks to launch the counter as well. Brought down, but referee happy to pay advantage as Steph Valentini charges down the right-hand side. Looks to be almost caught in two minds as to whether to go himself or send a cross. And on his way back, he's got there in the nick of time to draw the foul. And the Cannons will have one of their trademark set-piece opportunities. This is very much in Joe Guest territory.
Just angled a foot in there, and Valentini did well to double back and then draw that foul. Edge of the box, right near the corner of the area, so there'll be plenty of angle on this. As you said, Oakleigh always dangerous from these scenarios.
Yeah, well, one of the exciting layers of tonight's game is just the quality of the playmakers in both of these teams. Young Cuba has taken the competition by storm in his few years in it. Joe Guest has been the benchmark for a long time. And now perhaps an opportunity to show us why yet again. He's capable of going direct or putting it on a dime for a teammate. It's Guest. Offset towards the far post. Manos, though, was alert to the danger and claimed it comfortably. Perhaps even Joe Guest needs one or two to warm up sometimes.
Well, Manos still had to be very aware of where that top right corner was of his goal face.
Now called on Yitay Towns. He's caught late, I think it was Salmon. They'll have to go back and restart play from where the foul actually took place. Just over 25 minutes played at Jack Edwards. It's raced by. The action hardly stopped in the opening exchanges in this game. El Hayek. Once more, the Oakleigh press forces a not always convincing attempt to exit from Avondale. Guest now. Krajewski coming across, did excellently. And now Carpenter can carry it the other way. Cuba. Zinni in space once more. And he did go just a little bit soon. There was that moment of pause where you wondered whether the assistance flag was going to go up. Stephen Zinni very narrowly going too soon, it seems.
Nice pass from Cuba, got it out from his feet quickly. Here's Boyce. Avondale congest that side of the field and win it back. Kamara. Zinni. Hayek. Bryce spreads it out. Carpenter. Kamara. Press in full effect from Oakleigh. Avondale navigating their way around it and now over it. Heavy-ish header from Zinni. Well left by Cuba. Oh, Hayek gets in an awkward-looking cross. Cleared away by Holmes. Cuba again. Still a couple in the box. Kerr hangs out the back. Just lost sight of it through the air. Bounced off the bottom of his leg.
Just on this near side, Jordan, Zoran Markovski's still going about the offside call. He's really unhappy with that decision. Wouldn't like to be in the assistant referee's position in a moment like this.
He's got the assistant referee running right past him, and there's a couple of hands and a few words flung out towards the lino as he runs past. You go Avondale again. There's a wall of navy blue in front of them, but a few options out there, Zinni being one of them. Sinclair stayed tucked in, narrow defending, wins the day for Oakleigh. Adis, Guest. Adis runs on. Guest curls one down towards Salmon, who's one out inside the box, and the flag's gone up on the outer side of Jack Edwards' reserve. At times it feels like Salmon's just a bit isolated up front. You know, Guest likes to come in and be the playmaker from those slightly deeper positions. I mean, he's capable of doing it up high as well on the shoulder of the defence, but a couple of times now where Salmon's had to make a solitary run. There's a lone man in behind the defence. Towns, nice shape on the cross, on the pass, but it's went under Zinni's foot. 22nd minute was the goal from Stefan Zinni. Just 1-0 lead for Avondale on Friday night, round number 9. In a league match, which also doubles as the Community Shield tonight. So we are going to get a winner of sorts. The draw will be a draw in the league's sake after 90 minutes if it is all tied up, but for the sake of the Community Shield, we will also play, or we'll have a penalty shootout if it is a tied game at the end of 90. So there's league and shield ramifications tonight. Corner here for Avondale. Carpenter's come across to take it. Players gathering around Nick Feely. Flat ball, back posts, headed down. Feely parries it away. Secondary shot comes in. Feely, and it's tapped in by Yui Ahmed. Second goal for Avondale, and the crowding of the goalkeeper works. He could only poke and parry it so many times, Nick Feely, before eventually Avondale would poke it in, and it was Ahmed there on the spot to do it, to double Avondale's lead.
Yeah, not the first time tonight we've seen Nick Feely making a desperate save with a crowded box and just able to parry it away, and this time Oakleigh have been punished for it. Simple finish for Yusuf Ahmed, one that you'd back him in to finish 10 times out of 10. And Avondale with a 2-0 advantage. They've really taken this first half by the scruff of the neck and put themselves in a commanding position, not just for the 3 points, but as you mentioned, for the Community Shield as well. And the mountain before Oakleigh has just gotten a whole lot bigger. Not the ideal restart either, as they've quickly given away the ball, but Salmon now has an opportunity. Alex Salmon plays it out to Adis, back to Salmon. Salmon's pass can only find Franceschi. A little bit of frustration, I think, with that tackle from Alex Salmon. You mentioned moments of isolation for the number 9 for Oakleigh so far tonight, Jordan. Just giving out a bit of advice to his teammates, I think. Not completely thrilled with how this game has started.
It was a small window there for Salmon. Probably could have struck it the first time he lifted his leg, decided to fake and continue on. And when he did try and open up that extra yard by sidestepping, it just ended up closing down on him. Yeah, definitely a frustrated challenge in the aftermath from Alex Salmon.
This is Kamara spreading it to Alpaya. Caught the pass a little late. Sends the ball out for an Oakleigh throw. There's been so much good about what Avondale have done tonight, particularly going forward. It has just been playing out. It has been difficult in moments, the Oakleigh press has been pretty effective. But it's when they get through that Avondale are just so dangerous, as they've shown us twice already tonight.
Towns also playing a crucial role in midfield as well, just shielding that back four. So many times you see him pick up the ball on the edge of his own box once it's been won back by his team. Pivotal player.
Throw taken by Carpenter. As Kamara looks for the switch of play. It's an excellent first touch from Stefan Zinni. As the supporting run from Cuba. Kubale is back covering his defence. And the attack clearance only goes as far as Towns. This is Krzyzewski. Thought about the shot, instead plays it to Kerr. And the ball across the goal. It wouldn't have counted in any instance. The offside flag again, bringing an end to the Avondale attack. But as much as Oakleigh are good at pinning Avondale back when it gets over the top, it's just so difficult to contain some of these Avondale attackers. Just when you close down one, all of a sudden you open up a space for another, as we saw with that Kerr ball. At this point, you wonder if for Oakleigh it's just a case of getting to half-time still within touching distance, because there's only one team that looks likely to get the next goal at the moment.
That's right, yeah. Oftentimes, especially for Avondale, goals brings momentum. 2 goals and plenty of momentum now. There'll be a response from the Cannons. 10 minutes still to go before the break. Avondale normally winning these midfield battles, but Oakleigh have got the better this time. Here's Valentini. Sends a low ball in, offline, straight to the goalkeeper. A quick release as well. Zinni. Back to Al Hayek. Start again through the goalkeeper, Manos. Rice goes through the middle. Right idea from Ahmed. Not wrong. Heliopoulos. Here's Boyce. Now Noah Holmes. Ball from back to front. Trying to conjure up ways to get past Avondale here. The ball over the top, easily dealt with. Now they've got it on the ground. Holmes pushes it wide. Wellsmore into Valentini. Works it in, knocked away. Starting to knock on the door now, Oakleigh. First piece of momentum they've had in a little while. Wellsmore, and a sliding effort from Carpenter, steers it out of play. Corner coming up for the Cannons.
Just a little reminder from Steph Valentini of what he's capable of doing. Even when seemingly there's no space to create anything, he will find a way. It's a big part of the reason that the Cannons, specifically Joe Guest, will get another set piece opportunity now.
Previous corner that he sent in had a bit about it. Now this is going to chat for a brief moment. Jacob Heliopoulos and Aiden Bryce is tussling at the moment. Here comes the corner. Ahmed at the front post. Who will it drop for? Ahmed again. And hoiked away by Towns. Back into neutral territory. Zinni and Ahmed, the scorers. Scoring 10 minutes apart. 22nd and 32nd minute tonight at Jack Edwards Reserve. Round 9, NPL Victoria football. Watching us live on YouTube. Jordan Canellis and Oscar Rutherford with you. And Adam Al Hayek in possession. Shove. Hayek. He'll try Chesky. Oakleigh won it back.
Adis charging forward, tries to release Guest. Oh, Hayek did just enough. Wins the side a goal kick as well. Did well to play it off Guest. The last few minutes have been a little bit better from Oakleigh. He's been able to lock Avondale into their own half for a little while. See, that's part of why Sian Cuba's dropped a little bit deeper than we're used to seeing him. Kamara. Important interception from Oakleigh. Looked to have found Salmon, but Kamara used his body well. Well, that's Alex Salmon, who's already been booked, I think, tonight. Well, in fact, he hasn't. Gone a little bit early. The second challenge, which was a little bit of a lash out. And that is a yellow card. Just the response from the Avondale players was more so from the lack of footballing integrity, shall we say. Kamara just getting a little bit of treatment now.
Certainly sparked up quickly.
Don't think he'll be allowed too many more of those kinds of challenges, Alex Salmon.
Definitely one too many times. Now from Alex Salmon, that's his last warning. And just hope for the sake of Kalilu Kamara that he's okay, gets back up. Did miss a game or two in the early weeks of the season, hence why we saw the youngster Massimo D'Argenio starting at centre-back. So he looks fit to continue. Kalilu Kamara started spitting a little bit. Not getting rained on there, Oscar, are you?
Just inside the safety of the gantry. It's a pretty tight squeeze at Oakleigh, as we know.
Sorry, guys, can't stand there.
The challenge comes in, this time from Guest. Oakleigh felt for the physicality from Yusuf Ahmed. Sinclair. Kubalay. Leopoulos. Here's Boyce. Leopoulos again. Guest has come in. Sinclair. Moving their way forward with patience here, Oakleigh. Valentini gets bowled over. Ball comes in. Not a bad looking cross, just a little too tall for Alex Salmon up there, who lets out a yelp of anguish. Increasingly frustrated, Alex Salmon. With the slight drizzle, very light, but with that has also come a drop in temperature. A bit of a breeze too.
It certainly has, John. It's come quick and fast. Reminded very quickly that we're well and truly past summer.
A couple minutes to go before the end of the first half. Avondale feel like they're not done yet. Cuba, look at this run. Still going. Wellsmore ends it. Cuba wants to restart it. He has won the ball back. Pinballs off Holmes and Wellsmore. And sent high over the byline. That was great endeavour shown by Sian Cuba.
It really was an excellent run. Not too many times that Avondale have been able to play so effectively through the Oakleigh press. And that was certainly one of those occasions. And as you say, the endeavour that he showed to continue right until the end and earning his side a corner. This late into the half, it can be A real challenge for defending teams, trying to keep their structure and concentration.
Trajewski will send it in. Straight onto the penalty spot and knocked away by Ollie Kubalay. Racing down the other end here, Oakleigh. Plenty of speed from Munib Adis. He's got Zinni right next to him, all the way to the byline. Continues on Adis. Now Kubalay pulls the shot back first time, and the right-footed attempts didn't quite have the power behind it. And now Avondale on their own counter-attack.
Ball through, importantly cut out by Brodie Boyce. Wonder that last attack for the Cannons, they would have liked it to have fallen to someone other than Kubalay, someone with a little bit more of that cutting edge. Sinclair into Guest. Delivers the cross centrally. It was a wonderful run from Munibadis to create the chance. Now Wellsmore. Delivers the cross. Header from Valentini. Is on target. As has been the story a few too many times for Oakleigh in this half, the final shot is too simple of a save for Tom Manos. A good first half, the Avondale goalkeeper. He's dealt with what's been put before him admirably. Deep into the final 60 seconds, I should say, of regulation in this first half. Ball one back by the Cannons. Valentini, who's switched flanks with Adis. That attack prematurely ended by El Hayek. Now El Hayek thought about releasing Zinni. Goes the more patient approach. And Kerr has made an uncommon venture to the right-hand side of the pitch. He stayed fairly central, and he is the target of the through ball. That one has a little bit too much on it, so Nick Feely can come and claim. Confirmation it will be just the 1 minute of additional time. The ball sent in, and the header is a superb one from Alex Salmon. He's cut a frustrated figure at times in this first 45, but he made no mistake with that finish. As good as it gets into the top corner. And just before half-time, Oakleigh have a way back into this contest.
Wow, what a run into the box from Salmon, and what a finish as well. There was such a small gap to get that into that top left corner between the woodwork and the hand of Thomas Manos, and he just hit that spot perfectly. He has been the focal point up front for Oakleigh tonight. And you just sort of felt something might have been brewing in these last few minutes before half-time. Oakleigh have been getting progressively closer. Chances have been building. They'd certainly increased the intensity. And we asked the question a few minutes ago, is there a response by Oakleigh before the break? And there it is. And that will be half-time from Jack Edwards' reserve. And that goal has come at the perfect time for Chris Taylor's team. After conceding in the 22nd minute to Stefan Zinni, and then in the 32nd minute to Yusuf Ahmed, the 2-0 lead and plenty of momentum for Avondale. It was Oakleigh with Alex Salmon to get one back, and it just sets us up nicely, perfectly poised for the second half. Oscar, just a brief thought before we take a pause for half-time.
Oh, it's lived up to the billing, Jordan. It's been a really exciting first half of football. Chances at both ends. You feel like the game didn't deserve to look almost over at half-time, and so that goal from Alex Salmon has really upped the excitement, or my excitement, for the second 45.
Absolutely. So stick with us here on YouTube, NPL Victoria, round number 9, Friday night. It's Oakleigh getting a goal back right before half-time. Oakleigh 1, Avondale 2 as we head into the half-time break. Rejoin us in a couple of minutes.
Well, the heavens opened as the half-time whistle blew. And they very conveniently shut back up shop as we get ready to get back underway here at Jack Edwards for the second half of this blockbuster clash between Oakleigh Cannons and Avondale. The score at the break, Oakleigh Cannons 1, Avondale 2, a late Alex Salmon goal, breathing life well and truly back into this game. And as we get back underway for this round 9 fixture in the NPL Men's Victoria, she's also doubling as the Community Shield match. Just a reminder for anyone who didn't hear in the first half that means that if the scores are level at the end of 90 minutes, we will have a penalty shootout to determine which of these two teams will be claiming the first piece of silverware for 2024. My name is Oscar Rutherford, joined tonight by Jordan Canellis. And Jordan, it was a thoroughly entertaining first 45. What are you looking forward to most in the second half?
Well, we saw the best of both teams in the first half, so plainly and simply hoping for more of that. I hope for the neutral sake and for the sake of the contest that I guess Oakleigh bring it back to parity so we can get a nice close finish. But I'd like to see a bit more, a bit more movement up front. I think from Oakleigh, there was a lot of just vertical movement from the Cannons, so lots of balls from defence over the top, down the channels. Maybe a bit more creativity with the ball on the ground moving into the final third, because Avondale certainly have done that with their creative playmakers, the likes of Trycheski when he gets forward, Cuba, Zinni when he cuts in. Just I want to see a bit more of that from Oakleigh. Try and vary things up a little bit, because they did increase the intensity at the end of the first half, but pardon me, they like to see a bit more variety from them as well. But they did get that goal, so we have got a contest.
We certainly do, and Steph Valentini was a big part of creating it. He's the man who couldn't quite come away with possession in his near side. The player coming up against his former club, who's made an impact in the game so far. Tom Manos will be taking this goal kick. And this time they waste no time attempting to play through the press. Instead just go long and over the top. This is Trycheski. Run made by Ahmed. Got a touch on it and was just able to keep control. Eventually the Cannons come away with the ball. This is Valentini again. It's a really strong battle between Valentini and Carpenter. It's Valentini who got the better of it on this occasion. It's Noah Holmes. A real baptism of fire for his NPL start tonight, Noah Holmes. Now Kuvalay uses Guest. Another player who the Cannons will like to see on the ball a little bit more in the second half. It's a bit of danger in the middle of the box for Avondale. Not comfortably dealt with by Talilu Kamara. His teammates were able to send the ball clear. Trycheski lofts the ball in the direction of Cuba. Boyce now. A nice turn from Holmes to create a little bit of space. But Guest, as he was so often in that first half, is quickly closed down.
Just noticing before Stefan Valentini off the ball after that duel down the sideline of Blake Carpenter was just lagging a little bit. He was checking himself, bent over, seemed a little proppy. He's just walking at the moment, so we'll keep an eye. He's right in front of us here, and sort of bottom of frame, number 22 for Oakleigh in the navy blue. Let's see how he goes and whether he can last. Vital part of this team. Here's Carpenter. Kerr, nice first touch. Looking to get it back from Ahmed. High and away from Feely. Salmon, chested down. Kubalay. Away to Sinclair. Gets the return pass. Sends Adis down the sideline. Cross comes in. And Kamara was there. First time of asking and got rid of it. Stefan Valentini again is just on his haunches at the moment. He's way back in the 18-yard box.
Not what CT needs when you consider the number of key personnel already not in the squad tonight. Connor Hampson, Cam McGill and Piers Waring, none of them available for selection.
Yeah, Waring was an unknown one. His name was scratched off the team list. He is here. I think you spotted him, didn't you, Oscar, on the way in? But yeah, not on the bench.
He tracksuited up, so he didn't look like he was playing for at least 45 minutes before the game.
Gregory, Mensink, Miller and Kasumovic are the 4 outfield players on the bench tonight in a slightly truncated bench for Chris Taylor and the Oakleigh Cannons. So Kasumovic really the only noted attacking player. Miller can get in those advanced areas as a full-back. Kasumovic being a striker. Here's Strychewski for Avondale. Nice pass in between the gap for Kerr. Lovely touchback. Kerr. It was an inviting ball. There was just no one there at the back post. Cuba retrieves. Gives it away. Guest. Adis coming together with Towns. Left by the referee. Fair challenge. Equal parts from Towns and Adis. Coughed up by Avondale. Now it's Oakleigh charging forward. Salmon. Adis again, first time. Kamara just got the right sort of touch on it, even if it wasn't totally clean. Killed the attack.
The Cannons have picked up where they left off at the end of the first half. They've continued their momentum, which is not always easy to do. Avondale's just having to hold firm for the last few minutes. This is Ahmed. Again, the Cannons come away with possession. Yes, though, lost out, and that challenge was pretty straightforward yellow card decision. Yannis Izis catching Yite Towns. So Guest joining Alex Salmon in the referee's notebook. Towns looks as if he'll be all right to continue. One thing we neglected to mention in that first half, Jordan, is just how even the head-to-head is between these two teams in the NPL era. 18 games, 7 wins apiece, and 4 draws. It doesn't get much tighter. Although worth noting that Avondale's wins almost exclusively not coming here at Jack Edwards. The only one of those 7 wins coming back in 2015. So looking to do something they haven't achieved in a number of years, the Avengers.
They've shared the wins evenly as well. I think the only time one of these two teams had actually won 2 games in a row against the other was Oakleigh in 2022 when they won the championship. So they often flip-flop pretty frequently in terms of when they beat the other.
Ahmed sends it towards Strychewski. Strychewski has Zinni on the right. Stefan Zinni is pretty firm coming together between defender and, well, fence. Sinclair, who's copped a little bit of a shove from Zinni, but it was well defended by the youngster. Sinclair in a bit of a tight corner, but found some relief with his goalkeeper. Wellsmore hasn't been able to get forward as often as he would have liked in that first 45. That could change now as Wellsmore continues his run, tries the return pass to Valentini. Just couldn't get it out from under his feet, the winger. Still the Cannons persist. Adis in towards Guest, who cops a shove. Free kick in a really dangerous position now. Right on the edge of shooting range, you'd think.
This is right on that edge. It's probably close enough. The lines are a bit faint at Jack Edwards, but it's only a couple of metres away from the top of the D. For a potential Joe Guest shot, it'd be a phenomenal effort if you can score from this position.
Something that Avondale have done well, I think, in the game is avoid giving away these kinds of set-piece opportunities. Which I guess doesn't need a lot of chances to make them count.
Still a light mist here as well. Just making conditions a little tricky.
It's Joe Guest who goes direct. Forces a save from Manos, who didn't take it cleanly first time, but was eventually able to pick up the ball and reclaim possession from the back to the visiting team.
Pulls it out to Carpenter, and it skids on the increasingly slippery surface here at Jack Edwards Reserve. Jones. Brought in by Wellsmore. Kubalay lapped down by Kamara. Another heavy challenge in midfield, and Kingsley Sinclair is going to make himself scarce from the referee.
Yeah, that was a move of experience beyond his years, Kingsley Sinclair, just quickly getting out of the referee's side.
2 yellow cards already for Oakleigh. They have been committing the tougher of the challenges. Been right on that edge all night of Oakleigh. Manos didn't have too many options. He did find the one man there, but he's given it away. Trzaskowski. Ahmed battling on. Now Kerr. No real options central. Ahmed was the only one down the line. Smart from Kerr. Just to hold it up momentarily. Cuba spreads it out. Here's Zinni. Putting on the afterburners. Getting the cross in. A short ball, and it was cleared off by the Cannons. And a corner coming up for Avondale. Zinni and Ahmed scoring in the first half for Avondale. And Salmon's header right before half-time. Carpenter comes across to utilise his left foot. Ahmed and Kerr right on the top of the goalkeeper. Ball comes in. It's a floated deep ball, back post. Cleared off by Oakleigh. And Avondale quickly scurrying back. Those white shirts getting behind the ball. It's well won back as well by Avondale. Initially, now given away. Here's Oakleigh. Here's Salmon. Tees it up and forces the save from Manos. Hoping to skid it maybe through his legs and perhaps force an error. Wellsmore. Guest and Cuba come together. Zinni holds off Adis. And it's with Al Hayek.
I think Alex Salmon had to go far corner with that large shot. There just wasn't the space near post.
Ahmed. Well handled by Boyce, and he gets rid of it. Starting to open up a little bit now as, what are we, near the hour mark.
Tell you what, Jordan, I think you undersold the last corner. You described it as floated. That was a balloon, the way that it went right up in the air. I haven't seen something like that just about all season. Pure height and depth on that previous corner delivery. But Avondale just looking to regain a bit of their footing in this second half. Zinni's switched over to this left-hand side. Tries the 1-2 with Ahmed. It works to perfection. Stefan Zinni. Brilliant goalkeeping from Nick Feely. Quick off his line. Close down the angle. Concedes a corner. But it was just a delightful piece of play between Stefan Zinni and Yui Ahmed.
Yeah, lovely football from Avondale, but experienced goalkeeping from Nick Feely. That was really his, one of two options. He could have stayed, but there was bodies coming into the box, and that was obviously the other, more riskier option, but it worked, made it count.
So another corner, this time from the other end. Ball in is a good one. The header comes across goal. Just about the Cannons send it behind for a repeat.
It was a nervy moment for Noah Holmes. It was a spinning ball from the first bit of contact on a slippery surface, and he was facing his own goal.
Krajewski will try his luck again. Oakleigh defence has been well and truly warned. This one again has good depth. Again, he's looking for Kamara. Bryce is there on the follow-up. And the call from that is an Oakleigh goal kick.
Leopoulos with the defending there. He was got his head onto it first, but a couple of... I mean, Oakleigh have been, as we've pointed out, getting themselves back in this game after going down 2-0, but Avondale ever dangerous, aren't they? Big collision between Holmes and Bryce. Salmon involved. Quick release from Avondale, trying to catch Oakleigh flat-footed. Sinclair is there, one-on-one on that outer side with Kerr. And appealing to the assistant referee that it should be Avondale's, but it will be a Oakleigh goal kick. Getting a bit testy out there now.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the last coming together. Alex Salmon involved again, and Stefan's very much aware that Salmon's on the yellow card, just making sure the fourth official knows.
Oakleigh probing. Holmes started a little flat-footed there on that run, but found his man, and now Adis on the acute angle. And he's pretty intelligently there, played it off his man and out for a corner for the Cannons. Looks like the first changes are being readied, Oscar, for Oakleigh.
CT, I think, hoping to build the momentum that his team have gained in this first 15 minutes or so of the second half.
Corner comes in. Adis was there, skimmed away, picked up by Kubalay. Puts it back into the area. Manos clawed it off his line, away from the crossbar. Guest into Adis, skips around. Shot was blocked and cleared away by Cuba. And now what can Avondale muster? Kerr's fallen over in the wet. Sinclair gets it back for Oakleigh. Guest. To Munib Adis. Hayek and Kerr closing down. Sinclair comes in board to Kubalay. Boyce over to Wellsmore. Has a look up. Sends it in. Kamara off the instep. And looking to spring something forward again and catch Oakleigh thin at the back. And again, the rain from half-time they're undoing. Wellsmore once more. Cutting inside this time. Changing it up. Holmes. Ooh, don't quite know what the end product was there from Noah Holmes. I don't think he quite knew either. Just came across onto his left foot and poked at it. Goal kick and substitution being called here by Oakleigh.
Come on, Asad. And it is Asad Kasimovic who will be brought into the game. You identified Jordan as the only really recognised attacking threat on the bench for Chris Taylor. And will be Munib Adis, who's withdrawn. Wasn't quite able to have the effect on the game that he would have liked, Munib Adis. He's fairly well marshalled.
Yeah, looked flashy with those runs, but didn't have the end products tonight. Munib Adis.
We'll see what Kasimovic is able to do in the half hour or so that remain in this game. Just right in this sweet spot of the second half as we see whether, or rather how, Avondale will approach the remainder of the game. You can see they're maintaining their patience. They attempt to invite the Oakleigh press in and then take advantage of any space they can find. And that passage got a light applause from the coaching staff. They were happy with what they saw. Towns finds Carpenter. Cross in is quick to Trycheski. Now Zinni. Stefan Zinni looked to curl it into that far corner. He was onside as well. Narrowly off target with the attempt. Avondale very nearly getting vital third goal, which would re-establish their 2-goal advantage.
Yeah, he's just tearing it up anywhere he goes, Stefan Zinni, which is not totally surprising given he is one of the best players in the league, but he was on the right flank in the first half, he's on the left flank in the second half now, and just still equally as capable.
Salmon has Valentini in space. That's inside onto the left, where he delivers the cross. Guest passes it out to Kasimovic. And eventually Avondale get the ball clear. Is there space now perhaps for a counter? Ahmed. Couldn't get past Holmes. That's good defending from the youngster. And now Oakleigh will head the other way.
Here's Wellsmore galloping forward. Valentini. Ooh, sliding attempt from Carpenter. Valentini wins out, gets it in. It's a delicate touch from Kamara. Kubalay, a little less delicate, a little less finessed. The chance was there, though, for Oakleigh, and they are building up. They're starting to pepper the 18-yard box. And they're beginning to fire it in towards Kamara, Bryce, and Manos of Avondale.
I really feel this game is right on a tipping point. Oakleigh being forced to push higher and higher up the pitch and really commit to try and find that equaliser and have no space for Avondale to exploit. The temptation's there and they take it sometimes, but that of course leaves them exposed at the back as well, so it's really captivating viewing.
Bryce stepping out. Ahmed. Awkward touch. And given away as a result. Well won back by Boyce. Same happened vice versa. Kamara steals it. Here's Kerr. Cuba. His first instinct was to look forward. Oakleigh had all avenues cut off. Christian Trycheski. Avondale bringing this down to walking pace. Not a bad idea, just to take a bit of the sting out of the match, which is being dictated by Oakleigh. Now they'll turn it up on their terms. Given away, however. Another loose pass. Kubalay. Sinclair. Sumovic. Loops a long ball. He was maybe intending for Valentini. I guess that was the option, but it was well away from Valentini, who was a bit flat-footed on the right side. And the ball given back to Avondale.
Change being prepared for Avondale. You see George Ott limbering up, getting ready to come into the game, and that, I think, answers beyond doubt the question of whether Zoran Markovsky will continue to chase it there.
Zinni reels it in. Support beginning to gallop into the area. He doesn't need it, and he gets upended. Clear foul on the edge of the box, just outside the area. And it presents a good chance here for Avondale in a good spot, and perhaps a chance to make the substitution, which they will. It's going to be a straight swap, like for like, at the top of the formation with Yusuf Ahmed. Goal scorer in the 32nd minute, Yusuf Ahmed. And scored in the same fixture last year as well in Avondale's home game, a 4-2 win. So he's done it in 2 consecutive seasons. George Ott comes on, but now a free kick opportunity for Avondale. Cuba can't score these. Three-man wall. Sian Cuba, and hits the woodwork. Gee, that dipped late. Great shape on it. Coming down late, but not down enough. Play continues with Kerr. Trying to full Boyce. Little, sliding touch comes through, and that was almost nestling into the side netting. And Oakleigh survive another scare. Avondale knocking on the door once more. Wanting to put the game to bed with a third goal. Missing narrowly. And the game's still very much alive for Oakleigh with plenty of time left on the clock.
I think if you're Zoran Markovsky, you're at a loss for how your team doesn't have a third goal. So close on 2 consecutive occasions. As you said, the dip on that attempt from Sian Cuba is something to behold. Georgiot was the target of that fairly direct approach to goal. Lost his footing. And so as we head into the final 20 minutes of regulation. Avondale closing in on the Community Shield as well as 3 massive points in the NPL Victoria title race. Guest attempting to be released. Well defended once more by the Avengers. This is Kerr. Skips past one. Sends it out to the right-hand side. Trajewski just went behind him, but he's recovered the ball now. Trajewski takes the more patient approach as he returns it to Sian Cuba, and that perhaps wasn't quite the attacking move that they had planned out, Avondale.
Double check that we have 20 minutes left. It feels like the majority of this second half has been played in that sort of intensity and tempo that you get in the last 10 minutes of a match. So the fact that we've got 20 more minutes of that, I'm not complaining as a neutral. It's made for good football in the second half.
Wellsbrook can't quite wrestle past Stefan Zinni. And just little flickerings of afters. Stefan Valentini, you can see expressing his displeasure to the referee. Avondale, though, will come away with the ball. Oakleigh readying their second change of the night. Now this is Kerr. Cuts inside, still continuing his run. Kerr went himself, caught a deflection with the shot. That took the sting out of it. It's a comfortable take for Nick Feely.
Interesting move coming up for Oakleigh. They're bringing on Hamish Miller. It appears that Noah Holmes is going to come off. So I wonder what the shape of the team looks like. Does that mean Sinclair comes into centre mid and Miller goes out to full back?
Towns finds himself in a bit of a corner, but got out of it superbly by finding Georgiot. And now Cuba. Avondale have looked a little bit more comfortable for the last 5 or 10 minutes. Kamara almost loses his footing. Does just enough, and now Towns. This is Bryce. What about sending through one of Zinni or Rod? Instead returns to Towns. And now former Brisbane man Kerr gets the cross inside, hoping for Rod. Trajewski keeps the move going. Hot once again. Eventually the ball finds its way out to Zinni. Carpenter combines with his winger. It's Guest who's working hard. It's an attempted skill move which comes off from Carpenter. Avondale just brilliantly patient with their build-up. Cuba out to Kerr. Goes with the left, it catches a deflection. Just for a moment you wondered whether it might sneak inside the far post. Instead, it is an Avondale corner. Looks like Oakleigh will hold up on the change for now.
Could have gone anywhere, that deflection. A nice touch in the build-up as well from Trajewski, killing that high ball on the edge of the box, ran out of space, but we are going to have that substitution now. Hamish Miller put his vest back on. And the bib comes off, and on he comes. It is Noah Holmes coming off. So Miller is a natural left-back. We presume it'll be him to left-back, and then Kingsley Sinclair comes into the centre of midfield. Corner for Avondale. Comes in. A high rise at the back posts. And there's a few there contending. Bounced over the crossbar with Nick Feely. First part of 15 minutes plus additional time to go. The second half has been the story of Oakleigh looking for the equaliser.
Oakleigh have not dealt well with those runs at the far post from Kamara. It's a few times now he's got a head on it and just escaped with the 1 goal deficit remaining.
Miller puts that way out of play. He's at right back at the moment. So Miller at right back and Walsmore in the centre of midfield alongside Ollie Kuvalay. And off. Throw in for Blake Carpenter.
Go on, Chrissy, go on!
Trajewski. Cuba, he's got Kerr very wide, sees him, gets it to him quickly. Lovely touch from Kerr. Hyatt comes back to Kamara. Kerr again. A few step overs. A burst of pace. Leaves it. And the shot came in and it was blocked from Cuba. Second attempt. A new phase for Avondale. Trajewski. Neat ball coming through. Was there contact? A hand up from the referee and a little brush. We'll say play on. Now Valentini dragging down Ite Towns. And referee doing nothing, maybe just leaving the advantage for Avondale.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a yellow card in the next break of play.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get away with it, Steph.
pretty agricultural. He is. Okay. Ball's definitely gone out of play, and just a word, just a hand up, the palm shown there by Yanis Zizis. No caution. Looked away by Miller. Loose touch from the substitute. Trajewski onto Zinni. And bobbled around a little bit, last touch. Came off Miller last, so a corner for Avondale. So Miller's been given the task against Stefan Zinni since coming on. Corner taken quickly. Carpenter. Back to Trajewski. First time ball into the box. As, Bryce was steaming in, but Oakleigh clear their lines.
Yet again, Ute Towns is involved in the recovery at the back. I think he's been a massive figure in the middle of the park tonight for Avondale. And playing a role that Oakleigh haven't quite been able to replicate without Ollie McGill, or Cam McGill, I should say. This is Carpenter. Almost able to keep the ball in play, but not quite. So this is Diaz will be the next change brought on by Avondale. Big names keep coming.
The super sub, isn't he? Is he the super sub?
He might be. There aren't many who come off the bench more often in NPL Victoria. Avondale look for a third before that happens as Trychevsky retreats to Kerr. Goes to the left. Eliopoulos in a good position. Trychevsky keeps the ball in play. And he did really well to make the space for himself. The delivery is a good one. Just beyond George Ott. Is there an opportunity now to pounce in transition for the Cannons? Downs coming off better. Valentini attempted to send him the wrong way.
Too cute for his own good, I think, Valentini that time.
Tried to sell him with the eyes. Towns is well experienced in those kinds of one-on-one situations. Zinni brought down legally by Wellsmore. Now Valentini has Salmon in the box, that's where he heads. Before Kamara sends it clear. Hardly a break in the action now. Both teams doing everything they've got left. And Stefan Zinni puts the ball out of play as perhaps his race is run. Indeed it is. At a convenient time, he'll be brought off and replaced by Liston Diaz.
Any statisticians out there? I'd love to get a read on sub-on to goal ratio for Liston Diaz. Historians and statisticians assemble.
Well, I can tell you that he came
off
the bench 24 times last season.
Oh, okay.
And in those 24 times coming off the bench, well, I've got that he scored 8 goals, but I can't say with any certainty that neither of those goals were scored from the 2 starts that he made. So something like 1 in 3.
Yeah, still pretty good.
Still going okay.
He's on now, Stefan Zinni, who has been one of, if not the player of the match, has made his way off. Entering the dying minutes now, the last 10 of the game. Valentini, who has stayed on in this second half despite a few worrying signs earlier physically. Cuba to the feet of Ott. Carpenter, all times he's been caught out, just a bit flat-footed, tiring through the second half. Free hit here for Oakleigh. Eliopoulos. Kubalay. Down the left. Sinclair, long deep ball in, looking for Salmon. Second attempt here, Salmon wanted to turn and shoots. And the stop made by Manos, sliding in down in his left. Alex Salmon doing really well to wriggle away, just finding the angle, the space, and an attempt on target. Manos was equal to the moment.
It would be foolish to write off Oakleigh, even if the game doesn't feel like it's going their way, and Alex Salmon's a huge reason for that. He can pop up seemingly from nowhere. See a pretty firm challenge from Jacob Eliopoulos. Sees the Cannons defender yellow carded.
Some of Oakleigh's best chances. Oh, a yellow card there as well. For Cuba was standing right next to Trychevsky. It's going to be Trychevsky going into the book. Felt like the best of Oakleigh's chances came around the hour mark in a 5 to 10 minute period. Avondale have since just turned the game slowly the other way. They've had the best of the chances of late. But Oakleigh still not out of it. Valentini throwing himself in. Downs to Bryce, and they're going to kill the play here for Valentini, who's just holding the back of his left leg. Just cramps.
Well, he's looked pretty sore for the majority of the second half, Steph Valentini, although it takes a lot to force him out of the game. I wonder whether he'll want to keep testing that left hamstring.
I don't know if anyone's being summoned by CT. Keep Valentini out there, at least for the immediate.
We've got two subs, sure. Let's not push our luck from CT.
Oakleigh need to lift the intensity now. Down the stretch. Here's Valentini. Trying to manoeuvre around Diaz. He manoeuvres Diaz out of the way. Miller. Given away by Wellsmore. Diaz. Here he is. Looking for Kerr. Toppled over in the aftermath. Oakleigh, a few loose touches. Guest. He's got Sinclair down the left. Goes that way. He's looking to whip a cross in, an early ball. Gets it back, Sinclair. To Kasumovic. He's gone a bit quiet in the last few minutes. Gets it into Guest. Here's a chance. And it's wide from Joe Guest. But it took a touch. And it's a corner opportunity for Oakleigh. What a moment, though.
Agonisingly wide as well. Joe Guest, he's been really well marshalled by the Avondale defence tonight. He hasn't had the space to work his magic like we normally see him do. That was his moment. Maybe one of them. So we see another corner opportunity for the Cannons. Deep into the second half now. It's Guest who delivers the out swinger. Kubalay with Valentini. Nicely defended by Kamara. Looks to find Ott. And that touch from Kubalay, a little bit tired.
Valentini was in an offside position as well. He keeps looking longingly over at his manager to take him off. Put me out of my misery, please. Po-faced as always, Chris Taylor.
Not a lot of sympathy expression. Kubalay again. Wellsmore out to Valentini. Loses his footing as he attempts the cross. Salmon just about keeps it in play, but the pass. Oh, when you've got so few chances left in the game, not wanting to be throwing them away like that. We will get the third sub. Surely be for Steph Valentini.
I pray.
Indeed it will. As Luke Mensink is brought on. Taking on another one of the youngsters. Well, you don't get many better chances to make your name than this. In the number 20 shirt, Liston Diaz. Didn't quite get there, but it found its way to Trycheski. Trycheski out to Kerr. Gets the shot with the left. It's a strong take from Feely. Not easy with a slippery ball. Kerr just couldn't get the shape on the shot that he needed.
Such a smart pass from Trycheski. Diaz was the obvious option down the left, and Kerr had just sneaked in down the right, and Trycheski knew he was there.
And 90 seconds left in the 90th. Boyce. Forced to be patient with Eliopoulos. Now Guest. Sinclair. Wellsmore. Charging through the middle. George Ott made an important contribution. The attack continues for Oakleigh down this left-hand side.
He's been good, George Ott, since coming on. Has been more of a defensive striker, just maintaining possession for Avondale. and therefore, importantly, keeping it off Oakleigh.
Well, again, we see anticlimactic end to the Oakleigh attack. Joe Guest uncharacteristically unable to trap the ball. Avondale will feel that they're getting closer and closer to a monumental win at Jack Edwards, their second ever in the NPL era.
4 minutes of additional time, not far away from the board being held up. Community Shield on the line as well, so there's a trophy on offer tonight. There is the 3 points for the league, of course, being a round 9 NPL Victoria League fixture, but this match doubles up as a Community Shield match between the reigning League versus Cup champions of last season. So there will be a small trophy presentation after this match for the Community Shield. And Avondale now have a hand on the shield. Fourth officials board went up, so we're into the final 4 minutes of the match. Here's Mensink. Time against Oakleigh now. Here's Miller, some fresh legs into the box. And looking for the cross. And they have given a goal kick to Avondale. Now, I thought I was, not that I support either team, but I was definitely on Avondale's side there, because I definitely thought that was Oakleigh's side, I thought that was an Oakleigh corner.
Difficult to see from our position, but whether it caught the 1-2 deflection out of the attacking player. I saw the reaction from the Avondale bench. I knew how big that was.
Zocchi gave Yannis Zizis a standing ovation. Literally stood up and clapped him. Downs. Diaz was looking to zag it back into Cuba. It was good from Wellsmore. Kept his feet, rode the challenge, and has now released Mensink. There's a chance here for the youngster. Gets it in. Shot comes in. It was lasered over the crossbar from Joe Guest. Put everything behind it and punched at it from outside the box, and it was narrowly over the woodwork.
What a cross it was from Mensink to set up the chance, and Joe Guest, he connected with it sweetly, rocketed off his boot, just a little bit too much height on it. And is that the last chance that Oakleigh will get to equalise in this game? Send us to penalties as well. Diaz is the target of the goal kick. Miller sends it back the other way. Ott using his body again. Flick on header from Salmon, but El Hayek moves it upfield, hoping for Kerr. Kubalay fouled as he attempted to sneak his way past a couple of defenders. They're going to throw everything at this one, Oakleigh. It's delivered deep. Just about every outfield player in the opposing half, and that means there's space into which Liston Diaz can run. Kubalay, he's worked hard all night. He got back to defend really impressively. Mensink is shoved over illegally. So we try once again. Again, it's every outfield player bar the free kick taker in the Avondale half. Miller just didn't connect with it right. We'll get a second crack at it. That went into backside of Sian Cuba, and Trycheski can hit on the counter. Christian Trycheski has Kerr in support. Couldn't quite make up his mind. The underlapping run from Ott, who's somehow fired over the crossbar and out. It doesn't matter. Avondale have secured a highly impressive win at Jack Edwards Reserve. They win the Community Shield and take a vital 3 points back to Avenger Park. The goals came in the first half, but that doesn't mean the excitement got any lesser in the second 45. Thrilling battle for 90 minutes, Jordan Canellis. Probably in the end, Avondale say deserved winners.
I think so, Oscar, but a great match. It was, Avondale's 2 goals in the first half set the tone. Alex Salmon's goal right before half-time set up the contest for the second half, but they just couldn't convert on those chances. Oakleigh, they had plenty of opportunities midway through the second half, chiefly, and couldn't quite make them count. Over the course of the match, over the course of the 90 minutes, Avondale, all parts of the field were pretty sharp. Kalilu Kamara, I thought, was huge in defence, just dealing with everything that was coming in from left and right. And Avondale get an important 3 points. It's another chance for Oakleigh. They have started the season well enough, but have misfired against the big names. A draw against South Melbourne, a draw against Heidelberg, and now a loss against Avondale. So that just puts them behind the 8 ball, dropping those points against the other big teams. But I guess, do we expect any less from the reigning champions? Avondale was so good throughout the course of the match. And on the balance of the contest, Oscar, deserving winners, Avondale. They get the 3 points. They jump into the top 2 for the time being, and will be lifting a trophy shortly.
See, the players just will remain on the field. As I say, the champions of last year besting the champions of 2 years ago. And as we wait for the administrative matters to be taken care of for a trophy lift. Can confirm Heidelberg and South Melbourne also picking up 3 points tonight. So that race at the top of NPL Victoria remains hotly contested.
And so Hume playing tomorrow, a win for them would get them leapfrogging back up into the top 2.
I won't keep everyone
the game in hand as of the end of tonight, and they will play tomorrow.
But if I can get everyone's attention for the next minute or so to say a few words. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we meet this evening. We pay our respects to elders past and present and acknowledge their ongoing contribution to land, water and community. A big thank you to the crowd at Oakleigh to come out tonight at Jack Edwards. Fantastic evening, great food as always with the soups, and a great atmosphere as well. So a big round of applause to everyone for joining. These 2 teams, 2 of the best teams in the competition, as you both know about yourselves, took out all of the silverware last year as well, and have both started the season as we expected and firmly entrenched in the top 4. A great game this evening, free-flowing football as well, which is fantastic. As I said, I don't want to keep everyone too long, so what I will do is ask the Avondale coach, Zocchi, to come up and accept the 2024 Community Shield. There's not much silverware left for this club. So a big round of applause to Zocchi and Avondale, please.
Zoran Markovski and Aidan Bryce, captain and coach, coming up to receive the Community Shield. The 2024 Community Shield, normally played in the pre-season. Here's Zocchi.
I think obviously one of our rivals always have great games against them. I thought if you're a football supporter, and especially watching this game, you see the 2 teams that go in each other every time they play each other. So it's fantastic for the supporters to come out and support these 2 teams. Because they're both entertained. You see the highlight package today for 95 minutes, so thanks again, Oakleigh.
Excellent. Your 2024 Community Shield winners, Avondale Football Club. Thank you everyone for coming out. Enjoy your weekend. Get out to some more games.
Short and sweet trophy presentation.
Nice and efficient.
Yeah, so much like his Avondale team is Zoran Markovski. So Avondale lift the Community Shield for season 2024. They've beaten Oakleigh 2-1 at Jack Edwards Reserve. And despite a thrilling second 45 of action, there was no way back in it for CT's boys, who have a lot of work to do if they're to claw their way back into the title race for the remainder of the season. But that's all the time that we do have for tonight from Jack Edwards Reserve. I've been Oscar Rutherford in the company of Jordan Canellis. Full-time score, Oakleigh Cannons 1, Avondale 2.